Okay. Blue. It's down slightly. All right, we're back. Plan of action for today. One, I got some TTS stuff set up. So I can pick a voice and uh, work all that out. But the main goal of today is going to be set up an array. So we need to work out what we're fishing up, what we're catching, and we need some sort of random chance mechanic added to it. So that's the goal. So as we worked out last time, we had our little fishing game. And this should all be running. So if we did exclamation mark fish, it would add to the counter. Oh, TTS is already going. Okay. We also need to tell TTS not to trigger on that. Maybe that should be our first stop. Let's work out how to get TTS to ignore the exclamation mark fish. So the way I'm running it currently is over here. So I've got the separate thing. This is like the core of it and all the programs and everything that you purchase. But over here is the TTS stuff, and it tells the program what we're doing. Helps if I swap over. So we need to tell this TTS to ignore text. So currently we pull the wildcard text and it gets saved as a variable. So we need to work out how to ignore a variable. And I get the feeling I need to get that YouTube video that we looked at last stream, which I really should have saved. But it's probably in the history. Yeah, here we go. How to make a death counter. And we can ignore the ad. Okay. The last time we were having a look at this guy make his death counter. And here, so we wanted this here. So if the wild card, we want the string replace all. All right, so this was this is pull wildcard, if statement. And it was leave it blank. Okay, so it looks like here he's looking at the variable wildcard. He's looking at the string wildcard and he's replacing spaces with nothing, I think is what he set up here. But that doesn't remove things, right? It's this third one at the bottom here. He's using like string digits only. But let's have a look at the string replace all part. That might be relevant. So we pull the wildcard, we get the text. We save the variable as text. String set variable, pull wildcard. String replace. Let's remove sections. String. But then we want to resave it as text. The string text is... Oh no, so that's position wise, which isn't what we want. So we probably do want this string replace. So we're going to resave it as text because we want to pull from it. And then we're doing this, I think. String. So whatever this text is. And then we want to replace it. Let's have a look. Specifically. Because he was, yeah, looking at wildcard, but then he's saving the variable as wildcard here. Right. So then we want to replace our trigger word, which was exclamation mark fish, with nothing. And then we want to save it. Okay. Then we go, okay, so now if we try to exclamation mark fish, nothing happens. But if I do cat, also nothing happens. Did I have it on? Yeah, it's on. Okay, cat. There we go, that works. And the exclamation mark fish doesn't work. All right, cool. So now the TGS is ignoring the exclamation mark fish, or at the very least, it's not saying it, which we do want. Okay. So now we can have a look at our fishing game. So if we are in fish, the CVS fish counter does not exist. Okay, so our CSV isn't going. So we could create at the start. Let's run this. Which is our fish counter. Let's say it doesn't exist now. Okay, it's saying CSV fish counter doesn't exist. So let's go have a look at our directory for that. Because we had this working last time. So I had this saved in with the SAMMI stuff. So the CSV is indeed here. Okay. So if I pull it out, we can see it here in here, right? So the question is, why are you struggling to find it? Oh, okay. Because I've got the load off. So in this case, we haven't loaded it into here. So we want to turn the unload of this fish count off. So if we run it now, okay, now it's executing the button. Okay, so the problem was that we didn't have the CSV loaded into memory, or like the variables. We were unloading it in here and we weren't reloading it here because I turned off this part here where it loads it because I didn't want to load it every single time. That was kind of unnecessary, but I've got it in there as a just in case. Same here, right? We don't want to load it and unload every single time because it's probably doing more than it necessarily needs to if we're running the game constantly. So if we go back, we should now get our fishing game to work. So we go fish, 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 which I should just copy paste this. Yep, and that's gone up. Counter goes up. We got our big one. And then resets. Okay, so our baseline still works, still functioning, which is great. We now have some TTS stuff as well, which will be fun for general interactions. But now we need to work out our last bit. So we've got our trigger, right? So it counts up every time, but now what we want is when it gets to whatever our highest value is, so like 9, for example. In this case, we've got the reset in here. This one here. Right, so we've got our reset built into the command trigger. To set the variable back to 1, but we also want in here whatever the matching value is to this to trigger a our catch system, and we want that to be random. So looking at our SAMMI documentation and having a quick chat with ChatGPT, who still talks out its ass, but at least has a general idea on kind of what I'm trying to do, right? Even when you give it the document, it's still like, it's not really helpful. But like all this split string stuff, I don't think is right. But at least it tells me that I'm looking at an array, so I can go into the actual documentation and have a look at what the array does. Special variable which can hold more than one value at a time. If you have a list of items, for example, if your name storing them in a single variable would look like this. which is inefficient. If you happen to have a lot of names to store, the answer is to store them all in an array. You can hold many values under a single name. Okay. So apparently we can convert stack saved in a .ini file. I don't know what an LB1 is. If using the same ini files from Lauren board, you'll notice that your string stacks don't get public part. I don't know what that means. You want to retrieve specific value from an array, you can use the following formatting: array name position. We have an array. Typing names1 would retrieve silver link because the first value has a position of 0. Okay. What's setting the array value? Okay, so we can insert something into a position. But I need to be able to tell it what it's grabbing. Let's have a look at what it is. So here's our documentation. So what's an array? An array manipulation. So I need to grab SAMMI. And we're not going to muck with that just now. We're going to create a new button while we muck around with this because we can always copy and paste it. So let's have a look at an array. So first we need to create an array. So this will be, what's our array called? Catch list. Catch list. And we'll just name this array. Just in case we keep this for later. Okay, so we need to create the array. And then we need to, what's object to array? Let's go have a look at object to array. Object. What was object again? Object is a container for named values. The variable an object holds can be of any data type. We were messing with objects before, right? So we're going to need a source change visibility. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need an array with a bunch of numbers in it. And then depending on what number it pulls from that array, it needs to trigger a source in the game. And my cat needs to not be on the desk. All right, so let's have a look at our if command. I suppose we won't use an if, right? We would use the, what was it called? It was the case statement, right? Switch statement, here we go. Because we want all sorts of different stuff. So if we have a look at a case statement. Oh wait, no, hold on. It wasn't case statement, wasn't it? It's switch statement to start with. And then the case statements are in it. So we need switch statement. Just kind of exploring and trying to get an idea on some of the stuff that we're gonna need to mess with and understand it better. Case statement. So in this case, we would look at the value, and then if it is a particular value, so for example, so our value would be whatever our array is. Right? So then we would try and look at the array, and then depending on what gets pulled from the array, no, hold on, what would it be? Array would have to create a value at random, and then we look at that value, and then depending on what that value is, we pull it. So for example, if so we've got our create array, and then there's array random. So we take I don't know what save variable as position is, but we would look at our catch list. We'd save a variable as catch, all right? So that it is, and then we'd look at catch here, and then depending on what it is, we would have it trigger a certain thing. And then we would go the OBS source source change visible, yeah, change visibility. So we would turn on whatever the source is, and then at the very end of this, we would take every single source and we would make it not visible as the reset function. And it'd be like whatever a delay is. So let's just say the gacha was up for like 300 seconds or 3,000 milliseconds. And we'd work out that is maybe we'll get to play like a little tune or something or other. So in this case, like our fishing, it would be like fishing game. And then let's put in like a placeholder capture an image in here. Then let's just bring in, go back to Krita. We'll delete our background layer. So that it's a blank background. And we'll get our little circle. And here we got whatever little fishy we got here. Yeah, cool. You can have like a little bubble or two. Right. Yeah, cool. Suppose what color it is, doesn't matter. All right. So we'll go. It can be shadowfish or something or other. So then we save it as a PNG shadowfish. We'll call them shadowfish. Okay. Save. Now that we've got that, we will put that into OBS, into our fishing game. I think I'm even gonna make a group fish. Okay, and then we want to add an image into this folder, and this is going to be shadow underscore fish. Make source visible. Find it. Okay. Yep. Well, he's too big, but transform fit to screen. So it would appear up on the screen. We can make it all fancy later. This will be our test, right? We want this in the folder, right? And we can trigger it on and off. So here we want our shadowfish thing. And it will be make visible. If we get that. So to start with, we're just going to make an array of 1. So array insert. So our array name is catch list. Going to insert at the top position, and our value. Oh, do we have our value? So in this case, value is just like text, right? I have to understand the wording on this a bit better. All right, so if we go get value, get value. I want to have a look. Does it explain what it means by a value? That's all pre-made variables. Variable names. So it's really just whatever. Okay. So in that case, we can like insert the name itself. So we do this, right? Okay. We've got that. So let's just see if this does what I think it does. If we run this, okay, currently it does nothing. Hmm. Okay. I don't even know how we look at the array. I don't know what this save variable as position part means in the array. Okay. So we don't necessarily want that. Find returns a random value inside an array. Oh, that's handy. We'll muck with that later. ArrayRand does not support retrieving objects arrays as values. You can use the save variable as position box in conjunction with the get button variable command instead. So we've got the variable name to save the random value into. Okay. Save variable as position. You can enter a variable name here if you wish to get the position of the random value in the array. But we don't want that, right? We don't care about the position. We just want a random value saved to a variable. Oh God. What? I don't know what this means. Okay, well that's confusing. Okay. We're pulling the value catch. That should be right. Right, so if we're go back here, when he uses his switch statement, he's pulling the value of wildcard, which was whatever was in the text, which I'm doing the same here, right? Because I'm pulling something from the array. And we don't care about position. Let's try turn all this off for the moment. And we're just gonna see if our visibility works. We'll just paste this in. Come on. And copy. And then I'm just gonna paste this in here. And we're just gonna do like process of elimination to work out which parts are working, which part aren't. So if all that's off and we save this and we run this. Okay, so currently this part isn't working. All right. It can't find. Oh, okay. So because it's in a folder, the folder is fish instead. There we go. Okay, so now that part works. So the scene was wrong. Okay, so now let's turn that one off and let's go back to our array. All right, well, let's see if it works now. Oh, sorry, forgot to. Okay. So we're going to turn this to fish. So this was fishing game before, whereas it needs to be fish. Oh. Okay. Let's go back to our fishing game, run. Okay. The answer is still no. So there's only one thing in the array, which means it should be positioned 0. So let's change text to 0. And let's see if it's just returning a value rather than a name. Okay, it's not. Okay. Is there something I'm getting wrong with? The wording? No, because this is just like plus and minus, right? So it's just looking for that text. All right, let's try with this default command, because default might be anything. Let's go default save. Okay, so if we put in default, it runs. Okay, so what's happening is it's understanding there's an array, it's able to find it, but the value I'm putting in isn't matching up with the case statement. So I need to understand how on earth this is outputting the array. Let's get button variable. Let's go have a look at this. Gets another button's variable. The button must have persistent values enabled, else no other button can access them even if it's running. Actually, so there's a thing here which is get variable type. Returns a string indicating the type of the variable. So let's try this, and then maybe we can at least have a look at what it's doing. We might understand it a little bit better if we do that. So if we can leave that as default for them. So I'm going to do in here. So get variable type. So let's save variable as so is this going to tell me out of curiosity? This returns a string that shows the type. Test. Yeah, let's we don't. Let's save this question. Variable to check is catch. Let's run that. Okay. Okay, it's not actually telling me anything. Question is undefined. What? Actually, was that? If I run that. Array 12. Run. Oh, is it making new arrays? Maybe I don't want that happening. Actually, yeah, maybe that's a problem. Yeah, maybe I need to be doing these in separate stuff. Let's grab all this and copy it. Create button. And we just paste this all here. And we will remove this bit. Delete select. Okay. We run this. Now we've got our array, which is catch list array 1. Okay. And now we run this here. Oh, I did a thing. Okay, so it was making like a whole bunch of... Oh wait, no, it's because I've got it as default. Okay. Hold on, so I still want to see if it does this. If I say invalid array in button ID 11. Okay. Test. We'll call this test run. Okay, so it's saying an invalid array in catch list. But We have it here. Unless... Oh, it's not here. Okay. So it's not reading the array between them? So... They're not talking to each other. I also don't care about that anymore. Catch was returning undefined as well. What are these doing? Am I able to look in them? Variable name has been copied. That's taken the value, which also doesn't really help me. Here. Okay. Going back. Array. The answers store them all in an array which can hold many values under a single name. Selecting tuple will target their value at the end of an array. 0 will target their value at the beginning. Arrays cleared every time you close or reset. If you wish to save in a file, you can use stringify array and save text commands. Okay, how does this work? Stringify array returns a JSON string of the whole array. You can use this command together with file save string to save the whole array into a file. Once loading it back from a file, you can use pass array object command to turn the JSON string back into the original array. Oh. Okay. So if we did string stringify array. I'm going to save it as catch list. And the array is also called catch list. Okay, and then what was it? It was save string. Save string. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Alright, file save string. File. That's another thing. Maybe it's already doing it in here now. I guess it's saving it to a variable at the very least. But then does that cause issues when trying to pull from it? Because now it's a variable, not an array. Once loading back, I think you pass array object can manage the JSON string back into file. Okay, let's just try it. We'll see if it works. Let's see if it saves that variable. I mean, the catch list is now null, but we'll figure that in a minute. Okay, so then up here we'd have to what? Load it. Which was what? The pass array object turns as JSON string must be format. User create. Pass array object. Which will be this, right? I don't know what respect boolean means. The string array slash JSON. Wait, that doesn't help me. Because I can't save it, right? Copy file delete. Random line read or write text. File management. Any file. Buffer. Does it save it as an ini file? Array format to I feel like this is wrong. Doesn't seem like it's the right approach. Let's just copy the JSON, and we'll. If I go paste, let's see what happens. Okay. So if I, yeah, but that doesn't. So that doesn't tell me anything. And turning the array into a variable makes it no longer an array, which also doesn't help me. String array. Wait, shouldn't I just be able to do this then? Okay. Hold on. Let's change some of these names around. Create array, catch list, stringify, and save it as catch underscore list. Save. Then we're pulling that, and we're going to turn it into catch list that underscore. Now we're in this array and save it as catch. Okay, let's try run this. Does this do anything? Nope, fatal error and crashes the entire program. Great. Okay, so we don't do that. That doesn't work. And I'm guessing this is all just. Okay, let's actually have a look at the error. Data structure with index does not exist. Error in action 1 of step event 0 for object active button. So that's action 0. So it's actually, is it the array random? Hold on, let's turn this off and see if it crashes. Run. Okay, so yes, it is this here, this array random. So it's fine with step 1. It's not fine with trying to pull from it. The question becomes why? Actually, the real question is this even the right way to approach this, or is there another way to approach this? But we can figure this out because we really do need to like pull from a list because we don't want the creation of the array running every single time, because that's just going to create different problems. Convert stack saved from .ini file. Oh, so we could save it as a .ini and load that potentially. Oh. Does that work? Do we save the array as an ini? Because that was an option. So back in our array stuff, when we stringified it, we did have ini save number. I don't really know what the ini file is. Alright, what is a ini file? A plain text configuration file commonly used to store settings. Okay. So can we save the array in as an ini? So we create it, we can populate it with the insert command. Let's try add more stuff to the array so that we've got a handful. Maybe that's step one. Currently our array has like one thing in it, and maybe that's also causing issues. Moves, finds a value, randoms a value. Does support retrieving objects as values. Finds the first instance of a given value in the array and returns its index position in the array. As -1 if the value was not found. So is the array just returning 0? Is that because it's position 0, right? So maybe it's not returning a name, maybe it's returning a number. So in that case, if that's how it's working, then when we do, let's ignore this for the moment. Let's pull this for them. So we copy this. Maybe the issue wasn't with anything here. We need the random. There's the apply random. Copy. So when we were doing this bit, we do want the random array. We do want to insert it. We just don't care about stringifying it right now. Now we're doing this, and I've got this. Maybe this needs to be value 0. Maybe that's our problem. Let's just test this theory. Run. Invalid array. Oh, right, because we were create, we inserted that. Insert. We're saving it as this. But that as the array and then it's saving. Okay. No. Okay, let's doing that. If we do default, what if we undefined? Let's just see if it's returning undefined. It is returning undefined. That's the problem. Okay. So the catch command, when we save the variable, it's returning undefined. Why is it returning undefined? So where's our random? Okay, so what if we do use the position? Instead of this save variable, let's do the save variable as position. Okay, and let's say it's position 0. Does this work? No. We're still in undefined? Oh no, it returned 1 that time. Okay, so we know it returned 1, right? Because returning 1 here, which is good. So we can just do that. We can have it, rather than returning the name of the thing, we can just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which is fine, I guess. Probably makes more sense for it to return what the actual name of the thing is rather than the position, because that way I can link up the names and I don't have to figure out what position what is in, which might give me a headache down the line. I wonder if it's the underscore. Let's see if it's a formatting issue. If we just do valued insert shadowfish and we run this for a second. It's not save it as the value. Okay, returning undefined again. That might be because it's having, maybe it's this part here where it's like does not support retrieving objects as values. We can use it in conjunction with the get button variable command. So let's try add that in. Let's say get button variable. Okay, so if we do this again. So we retrieve as catch and then our button ID. Oh God. How does that work? Get button variable. Gets another button's variable. The button must have persistent variables enabled, else no other button can access them even if the button is running. Oh God, is this gonna be? How on earth? It's a new button variable. What setting button variables directly into arrays without having to parse and stringify them? Oh, but it can't. But the variable can't start with a number. So how does that work? So in this case, oh, okay. So if we have, oh, okay, we can't have that. So, so if we made effectively an array in a button. All right. And we need local variable persistent. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so in this case, I feel like this is a horrible way of doing it because it would be, well, it's, what was the command again? Set button variable, right? So set button variable, right? So the button ID is the button I want to set the variable for. Don't I, but wouldn't that mean I have to set up tons and tons of different buttons? With each of the things I want to pull. No, I don't want to do that. That's horrible. Right, because that would be right. This ID here with the variable. So this would be much which there, and it would have a variable of 1, and then what it's asking to do is the get button Right, and then we're pulling from that, and we want variable 1, and then that gets saved as that. Right? So we're looking for variable 1, and we're pulling the variable name. And then we're running that against this. Does that work? That's... No, we still get undefined. Hang on. We took this off. That's probably why. So then, right, so this is... We want get variable as whatever this is. We'll say this is like catch underscore just for difference of name. Yeah, we crashed it. So that even that's not quite right. Oh wait, we're in the wrong thing, aren't we? Yes, we're in the wrong thing. That's okay. Never mind. That's the problem. We're in the wrong thing. So it's that. And then we're doing this. Which still isn't working because it's returning a value in catch, but not as undefined. Yeah, whatever. All right. We're just gonna do the number thing. As much as I'd love to understand what on earth this thing is, I'm just gonna take the easy way out. Okay. But we still run into problems if we can't save this array. Yes, we still need to work out how to save the array somehow. Because otherwise we have none to pull from. Because I'm pretty sure if we go... We pull these. And I'll just delete everything here for the moment. Because if we go back to this and we run it, sorry, keep forgetting to switch scenes. Because if we run the array from a different button, it goes invalid array. So we do need we need it to be able to run from a separate button. Which means we need the array saved somehow. What's string split to array? Array format to string. Object to array. Stringify array. What's format to string? And how is it different? Array format to string. creates and returns a new string by concatenating all of the elements in an array separated by a specified separator string. Okay, and then there's a string to array? String place all, string of place, string lower, upper, capitalize. Only string format, string hash. String split to array. Splits a string value into an array. If an array does not already exist, a new array will be created. Oh, that is what I want. Okay. I don't know what this stringify is then. Returns a JSON string. The save string command doesn't save it into a file. Like it's not, like this isn't a thing. The what is file save string? File save string. Is it any save text? Save. Ah, here we go. So it's any save text is what I'm after. Okay. So let's try it. Okay, so this is our array, we've got this. It stringifies it into that variable. So any save text. The file name is the name of the file create. The section to save the key under. Text to be saved is the key value. So let's just go. Okay. And following commands can save load to any files, unlike variables and stacks. Data is permanently saved and can be loaded again after you close. Save number. Save text. You need object. File name. Okay. So file we catch. We know that part. I don't understand any of this. Like I don't know what it means by the section to save the key under. And then the name of the value to be saved. Like I'm guessing the value is the variable. Like I want you to save that. Or is the section asking for the file path? Oh, good. Okay, first of all, that was very, very late. Suppose I should turn that TCS off. Jeez, why was that so slow? Should have been way faster than that. Actually, run that. Yeah, no, that was fine. Maybe it struggled with a larger message or something. Yeah, turn that off for the moment. Yep, off. Okay, I think that's going to require some extra research on the side. I'm going to have to watch a bunch of YouTube videos. So for now, we're going to try with this other way where we do array format to string. And then we'll pull it from the other direction. Okay. So if we go into our array, and we won't worry about that for the moment. And we won't worry about stringify for the moment. Actually undo, because I don't want to delete that because I'll use it as a reference for later. I'll just turn it off. So what is it? Array to array format to string. Alright, so so we wanted this to turn into catch underscore list. And then we want to run it in the same way that we had other variables up, although I suppose we didn't really, right? We'll see how this works. And then we want to go back the other way. So this was array format to string, and then there was a string split string to array. So split string to array of catch list. Oh, we actually need the text. Ooh. Okay. So in this case, array formats a string. Great, it's returning it as undefined. But can we copy this? Variable value, variable name. Okay, what's it? The variable value. So what does the variable value come out as? Oh, it does. Okay. So as long as we get this part right, we can just dump it in there. But it's not the most elegant way of doing it. It would make so much more sense just to save it as an ini file. Right? And then load it. Much in the same way we did the CVS. I also don't know what this section and key is. Okay. At the very least, we did work out how to like set it up. So we've set up like the randomized section of it. We just have to work out how to get this array to stop returning undefined every single time. Um, so I'm just gonna copy this array insert. And we're just gonna add in all sorts of different stuff. So we'll just do a rainbow. Let's just return it as like red, and we'll return this as yellow. Save. And then we run that. And then we look at, so we got even more undefines. I don't actually know why there's more than what's in the array. Let's delete the array. Let's actually delete all of this and then run it again. Okay, so now we only have 4, which is good. So we haven't added a lot more undefined stuff. So I think it's undefined. So what if we turned that part of the code? Actually, let's delete the array again. Okay, so what if these values were just numbers? So if we added number value 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we ran that. Okay, so it's not liking that it's text. It wants it to be a number, which is why it's returning undefined each time. So if we go back to our array, we need it to not be a value, right? We need these, right? Where it actually has the name, right? It's not just a value. Ah, here we go. Yeah, this is the bit that we want. Arrays clear each time if we want to save it. We do stringify array and any save text. So in this case, array name string that has to be a value. So how do we make it so that it's yellow, blue, red, orange? Currently, I think the answer is I don't. I think what I'd be better off doing is just saving all my fish in OBS. It's like one with a number. So like the shadow would be 1 and then something else would be 2. And I just pull a number and have it linked. And I think that's probably my best bet. And then I go back and I do this stringify and save it as a text. So if we delete this, and we delete that, we run this, breaks the array. I don't know why is it 8? And that's got decimals. Which I also don't necessarily want. In this case, do I just have to do this? In that case, why am I using the array command? Couldn't I just manually put in the text myself if all I'm doing is numbers? Actually, hold on. If this is the formatting, I could just do it manually, right? As long as I understand what the formatting is. So what's the section part again? It was how it was being split up. Any save text. No, it's a section to save the key under. What's the key? On commands, can you save and load data? Unlike variables, data is permanently saved. Each value needs to have a specific structure for it to read, containing a section and a key value. You can only save and load any files. Make sure the right command for loading the saved data. There are different commands for text strings, different commands for numbers. Use the relative path for loading and reading the files. If you want to load it from a folder, don't need to include an extension when loading the file. Okay, yeah, I got absolutely no idea. I need to understand ini files a lot more. All right. In that case, I'm going to leave this here and run away and do a bit more research. So not as much as I wanted to get done right now, but this is going to take a bit of time and a little bit more understanding of what ini files are and how they function. But that kind of is what we need to do, right? Because we need to be able to save our array, and then in here we need to be able to load it so that we can pull from it effectively. We can't have this generating the array each time. That doesn't work. Because it will just make an array with too much, like it will just keep adding and adding and adding if we don't have this right. Alright, so I'm gonna go do that and I'll be back some other time.